Hey everybody, how is it going this weekend? Well, in this video, I'm going to be doing an update on Healthier Choices Management Corporation, ticker symbol HCMC. They're out with some news, and their chart pattern is looking like it could be ready to take off, so I want to get into their chart. And then I want to go over a company called Mind Medicine Incorporated, ticker symbol MMEDF. Now, they were out with some big news of their own, and the stock was up sharply because of it, so I want to get into their chart as well and see what could be coming next. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in every video, I'll show you some of the potential trades and investments that I see setting up. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. And I also have a Patreon group, so if you would like to be a part of our community and see what we are buying and selling in real time, that link is in the description. All right, well, first off, I want to jump into this news of Healthier Choices Management Corporation. And this article says that HCMC stock has gotten a fair share of attention over the course of the past week and has clocked impressive gains so far. Since last Friday, the stock has managed to deliver gains of as much as 45%. Now, by the way this chart is shaping out, I'm thinking that this could be just the start, but we'll get into the chart in just a minute. This article also says that earlier in the week, the company announced that it had submitted a Form S-1 registration with the SEC with regards to a rights offering. As per the perspective with regards to the rights offering, investors will be able to acquire one common share in Healthier Choices at a reduced rate for each block of 4 shares held. Investors will be able to buy common shares at a 25% discount on the weighted average of the stock price for 5 consecutive days of trading on the OTC markets up until the expiration date of the rights offering. Now, I don't think this is the reason why the HCMC stock has been trending higher over the last week or so, but I mean, who knows? It could be. But it is going to be interesting to see how this stock starts to move after this offering has concluded, though. All right, guys, let's jump over to my TC2000 charting software, and let me show you why I am so bullish on this stock in the short term. But first off, let me get a couple things out of the way. Number one, if I could ask you for a favor, if you could hit the like button for me, I would greatly appreciate it for help with the YouTube algorithm. And if you don't want to do it for me, do it for HCMC. And number two is, of course, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet with an opinion. So please do all of your own research before buying any stocks you see on my videos, especially these really low price stocks, because I've been trading for a long time, and more often than not, these type of really low price stocks end up being pump and dump type scams. Now, I am not saying that HCMC is one of those. I haven't looked into this company deep enough yet. I mean, this thing could be a diamond in the rough. I just don't know. So make sure you do all of your own research and dig deeper than you normally would with these penny stocks, because like I said, more often than not, they can be scams, but you can still trade these things very profitably in the short term if you learn this pattern I'm about to show you right now. All right, well, the first part of the pattern, of course, is this huge run-up, and this is when these stocks jump on my radar. I'm almost never in a stock when it's before it makes this run-up, and this is when everybody kind of takes notice anyway. But I never chase this first run-up, even if I catch it in the early phase, because I just wait for it to pull back. And this is in this pattern, it's before it does any movement at all. So it's got to go sideways for a long time and then start up. And then you wait for it to pull back and then go sideways for several weeks to several months. Now, usually the longer the better, but it doesn't have to go super long. Now, when the stock jumps back above these moving averages like it's doing right now and holding is when I like to buy these stocks. Now, preferably, I'd like to be in the stock when it's above this blue line, this 50-period simple moving average, but these lower price stocks can, jump above that moving average and take off to the moon in one day. So once it starts holding these other moving averages is when I like to buy these stocks. Now, I'm not in this stock. I checked with my broker, and I don't have the ability to buy the stock. So unfortunately, this video is just to show you guys how I like to trade this pattern. I will not be participating in this one, even though, man, if I could, I would love to be in this stock right now. And if you do get in the stock right here, your stop loss would be under this previous low. If the stock dips below that previous low and starts to go sideways, you just kind of take your small loss and go on to the next trade. But when the stocks normally explode higher, this is what they do first after this type of move before they end up taking out this old high and, you know, blasting to a new all-time high. So this is the first part of the pattern. And actually, let me jump over to another stock that I saw that's making a similar pattern, GVSI. Now, GVSI made this type of pattern. This is right about here is where HCMC is. But you can see it made that first high, and of course this high looks absolutely tiny because this high exploded past the old high, so it's making that previous high look like it was just a blip on the radar. But if we go backwards, we can get a better look at it a little bit. You see it has that huge move, comes back, and then finally jumps above those moving averages and holds, and then it's off to the races. And if we go back to the present time, you can see that it was absolutely a huge move. Getting in back here was at 0.001, so you're looking at this stock is almost to 2 cents, and this thing looks like it's probably going to keep going. So if you're in the stock at 0.001 and it makes it to 2 cents, you know, that's like 20 times your money. But let's go back to HCMC. Now, this is the point where I like to enter this stock because usually when it makes this jump above these moving averages is when it starts to take off and really start making those big gains. Now, what do you do once the stock takes off? You never know how high these things are going to go. Sometimes they might just go up, you know, a little bit past this old high, and sometimes, you know, a stock like this can go up to, you know, a nickel, 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, maybe even more. And that's when those just become millionaire makers if you're buy enough shares down at this level and you get lucky enough to get in one of those stocks that end up going to like 25 cents or so. I mean, that could just make you tons and tons of money. But that being said, when the stock does take off, usually they don't end up going to a quarter. They end up just going maybe a little bit past this old high. So that's when I like to start feeding some shares into the market. If it gets past this high, then I'll feed in, say, 25% of my position. If it goes a little higher, I'll feed up a little more. I just don't want to be in this stock and have it kind of take off all the way up and then ride it all the way back down. Because when that happens, usually you end up just, you know, once you've had a huge gain and it pulls all the way back, you just end up selling the stock for, you know, either a tiny gain or even a loss because you don't even want to look at the stock anymore once it comes back to this level. So that's how I like to trade these patterns, and I think at HCMC has a pretty good chance of going on its next run because this is the building block that happens right before it does take off. Now, if you flip through some penny stocks, you'll see, I mean, penny stocks that have had big runs, just because they make this move right here doesn't guarantee that they're going to explode. But if you look at penny stocks that have exploded, more often than not, they make this pattern right here just before the explosion happens. So this is one you definitely want to learn how to trade and keep that in your repertoire. All right, guys, next stock I want to talk about is Mind Medicine Incorporated, ticker symbol MMEDF. They were in the news last week, and this news says that the psychedelic medicine biotech company reported its subordinate voting shares have obtained the necessary authorization to list on the NASDAQ. MindMed will continue to list on the NEO exchange, and its subordinate voting shares will remain listed on the OTCQB until trading in the NASDAQ begins. Their CEO and co-founder said, "The listing of our stock on the NASDAQ represents a significant milestone in our growth as a publicly traded company. We believe this listing will increase our visibility in the marketplace, improve liquidity, broaden and diversify our shareholder base, and ultimately enhance long-term shareholder value. I would like to thank our employees, management, directors, and our many collaborators for their hard work in making MindMed a member of the NASDAQ exchange. And this is an important step that will help facilitate our mission to discover, develop, and deploy psychedelic-inspired medicines and therapies to address addiction and mental illness." Now, this is huge for MindMed because ETFs and mutual funds that have to buy the NASDAQ-listed stocks to mimic the index are now going to have to buy MindMed Incorporated stock. So this is going to put a significant amount of buying pressure on MindMed stock in the future. All right, so let's jump over to the charts and get a look at their current price action and see what could be coming next. But before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to Tony M for telling me about this stock. He's mentioned this stock on several videos that I've had, and he is definitely a believer in this stock, and I'm a believer in these psychedelic medicines. I think these things have huge potential going forward, and I definitely want to keep an eye on these stocks. I don't have any exposure in this field yet, but I keep staring at this stock over and over again, especially when Tony mentions it. But let's get into this chart pattern. Now, if we look at how beautiful this chart pattern is, this thing exploded from 25 cents back in September and made it to a high of over $5 just a few short months later. I mean, just an enormous move. Man, that would have been great to have caught that move. But since then, it started trending sideways. You can see it did not give up much of this gain. I mean, this move all the way over $5 from 25 cents. It didn't give up even half of it. Started to trend sideways, and it looked like it was going to take off. But I think this is when the market started to get weak, and then MindMed got taken down with it. It's been trending down slightly ever since, but now that we got that huge news catalyst to come out, it exploded over that 50-period simple moving average, and it looks like if it can hold above that moving average, this thing could be starting its next move up. I love the fact that it blasted above all those averages, and one day finished near the high of the day on much larger than average volume. That tells you that this move probably has some legs. And, if we go to the 15-minute chart and take a closer look, once this thing exploded through here, pulled back right around to the 8-period exponential moving average on the 15-minute chart, and just was bought up the rest of the day. I mean, this is total, complete strength coming into this stock. Just no selling pressure at all, just buying pressure, continuously for the entire day, and that's because a lot of people are anticipating that this stock is going to have buying pressure in the future because of that listing on the NASDAQ. And this company in this industry already has a ton of potential. So, I mean, this is already a pretty exciting sector in medicine, and if some of this stuff starts getting approved, which I think it will, the total addressable market for Mind Medicine Incorporated is just huge. I mean, the potential revenue down the road is probably going to explode once these things start getting approved. Now, who knows how long that's going to take? It could take, months. It could take many years. Nobody knows. But one thing that they do know is there is a lot of potential in this side of medicine, and people are starting to take notice. And I was kind of hoping the stock was going to pull back farther, but after getting that news about that NASDAQ listing, I don't know if it's going to. This thing might just keep going from here. This might be a $10 plus stock in just a matter of a couple of months, but what I'm looking for in Mind Medicine Incorporated is to consolidate sideways and hold this strength. If this strength immediately sells off, then we know that it was probably a fake move. But if this strength holds up, starts to move a little higher, or starts to go sideways, and these moving averages catch up to it, then the stock could certainly be off to the races, because this is an absolutely beautiful looking chart pattern. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.